Good afternoon, fans. Welcome to the LB Gym. I'm Bill Gibson. You're watching coverage of the Ken Gould Invitational. This is the final women's game of the tournament. The host Tommies, who are 2-0, taking on the UKC Blue Devils. Friday, the Tommies, 83-66, winners over Mount St. Vincent. The Tommies in that one were led by 16 points from Charlie Connors. Nora Quinlan added 16 off the bench. A 27-12 decisive third quarter led to the Tommies' advantage. Plus 10 on three-pointers made, 13 of 36 versus 3 of 31 for the Mystics. Tommies followed that up with a wire-to-wire win over UNBSJ. 28-2 first quarter yesterday en route to a 66-40 victory. It is Claudia Steeves leading the team with 13. Connors adds 11 points and 9 rebounds. Mackenzie Giesbrecht has 10 points. And Kings, they come into this one 0-2. They lost Friday to UKC, 65-48. They got behind 22-10. They were led in that game by Kai Raphael, number 5, with 17 points. Ryan Santamaw had 12. Yesterday they lost by Mount St. Vincent, who came out firing. The Mystics put up 62 points in the first half en route to a 99-63 win. It was Santamaw with 13 and Sydney Flora Kirch with 11, pacing Kings. It's about time for the starting lineups for this one. Starters for Kings will be number 5, Kai Raphael, wearing 5. 8 will be Sydney Flora Kirch. 10, first-year player at Riverview, Carly Best. 14 will be Ryan Santamaw, first-year player, Citadel High and Bedford. And 15 will be Madalena Webb at a JL Heisley in Halifax, also a first-year player. Flora Kirch, a second-year player, the only non-first-year starting today for Kings. Starting for the Tommies, 5, Brianna Bartley, third year out of Woodstock. 7 is Katie Vedito, fourth year at a Charlottetown Rural High. 9, Alyssa Jeffrey, fifth year out of Sussex and the Sonics program. 13, Paige LeBlanc, third year out of FHS and New Maryland, New Brunswick. And 21, Charlie Connors, also out of FHS in her fourth year. This is a veteran and deep Tommies team. Been subbing in waves of 5 here, which is always fun when you're the play-by-play guy. Vedito versus Webb on the tap. Controlled by the Tommies, Vedito. Someone else wants to touch that. I didn't think you could control off the tap if you were the one that tapped it. That is LeBlanc, knocked out of bounds by the Blue Devils. Jeffrey inbounds for Bartley. Bartley for Connors. Connors can't get the scoring started. Rebound, Webb, a jump ball possession. Kings, as the Tommies controlled off the very recent tap. Raphael back to inbound. It is for Santamaw. Guarded by Bartley. The Tommies are going to bring pressure steadily all afternoon, I would guess. LeBlanc gets a piece. Santamaw to inbound. That's Carly Best. Flora Kurtz, too strong, knocked out of bounds off of a Tommy. 8 on the shot clock. Still looking for the game's first points. And we're in the game's first minute. Raphael with 3 to shoot, is going to have to put one up. It finds iron into the hands of Carly Best from 15. Also finds iron, Flora Kurtz. Another rebound. And finally, the Tommies LeBlanc corrals a bounce ahead. Vidito from Connors scores 2. Raphael tries 3. Jeffrey on a rebound for Vidito. Vidito is streaking Bartley. Bartley catches up to the bounce pass. And I'm not sure I'd want to be that end wall with Brianna Bartley running into me. Connors draws a foul. It'll look to go on Webb. Let's go on Webb. That's the game's first foul. Sends Charlie Connors to the line. 12.5 points, 7 boards. Second team All-Star for Connors. Fifth in the league in free throw pursuing last year for Connors. If I can read my notes correctly at least. Connors works a takeaway on the press. It'll be Stu to inbound at 4-0. Connors out of bounds. Three-pointer made that time. I believe that's Madalena Webb behind the post and backboard there for me. Didn't quite see who that was on the release. Connors looks for an answer, can't find it. But it's Bartley working the offensive glass. Bartley, as tough as nails, puts it back up in. Bartley, never short of energy, always brings it for the Tommies. There's Bartley again working hard on the offensive glass. One LeBlanc zigged when Bartley was expecting a zag. Travel there as Sanama slid to feet. You knew it. Sub coming. It is Renee Tebow, second-year player in for Ryan Santama. Young Kings team, 11 first-year players. In the mold of Coach Chris Holland. Connors draws another foul. Will shoot a couple from the line. That's going to be the second one on Webb. We'll see if Webb comes out after that second foul. And yes, it's going to be Langell who will check in. Connors makes the second. Here's the sub. Natasha Langell in for Madalena Webb. Tebow a three. LeBlanc's pass too strong for Vidito. Oshipko in for LeBlanc. Peyton Oshipko, first year with the Tommies. Second year of eligibility. Been with the UNB Reds program out of Bayview High School. Listed as out of Fredericton in the program is Oshipko. Bayview is Halifax area. Ahead for the ever hustling Bartley. Reverse lay-in doesn't go. Rebound Langell. Tasha Langell, second year out of Ottawa, Ontario. And a reach in on Connors on Zoe Momberquette, who's also subbed in for Kings. Here comes Steves and Mackenzie Giesbrecht. Claudia Steves, big game yesterday. Mackenzie Giesbrecht quickly becoming one of my favorite Tommies this season. She's really stepped up here in her second year with the program. There's a rebound there from Giesbrecht. Everyone knows I have a built-in affinity for players who can play it close to the bucket, rebound, and work hard, and Giesbrecht checks all of those boxes. Oh, big screen there. After the Tommies made the three, it's Steves deflecting it out of play. Rebound inside for Langell. Langell's going to have to get out of the key. Still in there. Jeffrey tried to control the rebound. Out off of the knee or leg there of Alyssa, I believe. Picked off by Steves. Steves has Vidito, but has Momberquette to beat. Nice finish for Claudia Steves. Love the energy that Tommies are bringing off the bench this year. Steves among that bench group thus far at least. The one out of play off the support wire. Here comes a couple more off the bench. It is Marley Olton wearing 20 and Nora Quinlan, who played with Kings last year, in wearing number 15. Chloe Goucher, number 13, in for UKC as Raphael goes to the bench. 13-6 Tommies halfway through Q1. Olton out of Woodstock. Low post for Giesbrecht, and Giesbrecht goes to work. Kick outside for Quinlan. Quinlan back for Giesbrecht, who's going to shoot a three. Olton tie up. Possession Stu. Inbound pass Stolden, but Stolden right back by Claudia Steves, who finishes with a lay-in. Long three attempt by Momberquette. Steves gets out the Windex, wipes the board, collects a carom, however you want to say it. There is Olton into the painted area for 2. (17-6) Tommies. Sydney Flora-Kirch finds a seam in the Tommy defensive dress and gets right to the bucket. Quinlan fouled by Goucher. Goucher out of Shelburne. Laura Quinlan out of St. John's and Holy Heart High. Triple H. Quinlan a miss on the first. STU this year to play with sister Kathleen, who's still mending from last season's foot issues. Shipko, big pressure on Mom Burkett. Goucher tries a 3. And Steve's made contact with that one while being out of bounds. Alyssa Wenzel checks in. Wenzel out of Pasadena, Newfoundland. Number of players from the far east coast in action here today. Backcourt on Mom Burkett. Shipko nearly had it for a breakaway lay-in. Olton for Steves. Steves back up top. Now Giesbrecht. Shipko tries a 3. Short, but it's Olton there for the putback score. 20-12. And there was Quinlan knocking the pass out of play. And timeout. University of Kings College. A lot of patience in the huddle here for Chris Holland. He knows they've got fairly substantial learning curve here in the ACAA with 11 first-year players. Likes the group, like where they're headed. Team that he has an opportunity to mold to his style. And the Tommies be really happy with their play thus far. A couple of wins in Woodstock against University of Fort Kent. I think I was saying Presque Isle maybe on Friday, but it was Fort Kent. That general area of the state of Maine anyway. And a good weekend here against their first look at ACAA foes. Mystic Seawolves. And now the Blue Devils. Looking around the conference, I'm excited to see what Mount A has this season. Mount A had a whole bunch of players play in the Maritime Women's Association this summer, and that extra 10 games of growth I think will help that program, and they were a pretty stout program last season as well. Tommies are looking deep and tough, but there's a long season ahead and lots can happen between now and March that change the view of the world and the order of operations. Have to expect, out of what I've seen so far, that Tommies will be challenging for tops in the conference this season. They're not small, but they're not the largest team in the world by far. But the pressure they play with, they have to use body position and blocking out for rebounding in some cases. And depth, I think, really key for Stu. Here comes Paige LeBlanc off the bench in for Olton. Connors will check in as well for Giesbrecht. Steves with another turnover forced, but it's into the hands of Connors. Quinlan Steves toes up a three-pointer. Oshipko crashes the boards. Tommies get another look. Steve's jump stop, pass deflected, out of bounds by Wenzel. Flora Kurtz checks back in. And Vidito off the bench for Stu. It'll be for Quinlan. Well, the Tommies 10 deep here in the first quarter. LeBlanc, Connors. One to shoot, Connors. Got it up, they say there was rim on that shot. What are we saying here? Foul on Wenzel on the first shot. So wave off the bucket. And foul on shot attempt one. Connor says, I'd have rather had the second one, because I got 2 points out of that, and I've missed the first free throw. Wenzel. 1 for 2 with an offensive rebound that trip and 2 points. Connor's pass intended for LeBlanc, picked off by Raphael. Flora Kirch, Carly Best. Good ball movement there in offense. That time for Kings. Shot doesn't drop, and it's Best knocking a pass away. Tebow, Raphael. In the corner, Flora Kirch tries a shot again. That one doesn't drop. Connors and Flora Kirch collision. Warning on UKC coach. And here comes Alyssa Jeffrey back into the game, along with Brianna Bartley. The Tommies rotate their starters back in. And a bonus situation, that foul goes on Flora Kirch. Wenzel for Flora Kirch. Taken away by Jeffrey. Jeffrey has Bartley. Elects to keep Bartley on the offensive glass. Can't control the rebound. Instead, it's Raphael. Out for Tebow. Tebow for Best. Oh, Flora Kurtz was open underneath. Raphael tries a three. Rebound into the hands of Paige LeBlanc. Off for Alyssa Jeffrey. Jeffrey LeBlanc, final 10 seconds of the quarter. Back for Bartley with 5 to shoot outside. Vedito to beat the buzzer. It's good for 3. And there's the end of the quarter, 26-10 Tommies as we go to the first quarter break. Team fouls 5-1. Get the phone to work here and give you the stats rundown. The Tommies, 26 points on 8 of 21 shooting. That is 38%, 2 of 10 beyond the arc, 8 of 10 from the line. Big discrepancy there on free throw attempts. A lot of that is the Tommies' aggression towards the bucket. UKC 10 points, 4 of 22. They actually have one more field goal attempt than STU. Also 2 of 10 beyond the arc. And yet to attempt a free throw. Of course, the Tommies only one foul. Turnovers. UKC has, that's a 9. And STU has a 6 turnovers thus far. Rebounding favors STU 14-9. Individual stats, UKC, Renee Thibault 3, Madalena Webb 3, Flora Kurtz 2, Wenzel 2. Madalena Webb 2 fouls already. And for STU, Katie Vedito with 8 points, Charlie Connors 7, Claudia Steves 4, Marley Olton 4, Brianna Bartley 2, Nora Quinlan a single. Connors with the lone Tommy foul, so no foul trouble for STU. Webb has 2 for UKC. Out of the break, it's the Tommy starters. Connors, LeBlanc, Bartley, Vedito, and Jeffrey. Thibault, Flora Kurtz, Webb, Raphael, and Santama for UKC. Waiting to get the music shut off here. We get it back in play. Deflected by the Tommies. I think that was Vedito got a piece. Ahead for Bartley, cutting to the rim, and Bartley can't finish that one. That's several in close for Bartley. Traveling violation on Thibault. Here comes Zoe Momberquette into the game. It's going to be for Thibault. LeBlanc, back for Bartley. 5 to shoot for Connors. Connors to the bucket, no rim, jump ball. Should actually be a shot clock violation here. Mount Allison Mountie men arriving into the gym here. We'll take on the STU Tommy men to close out the Ken Gould. Jeffrey with the tip of that ball into the backcourt. Travel on Raphael. And Raphael, a little bit of frustration there, doesn't like the call from the official. rebound. Off for Montbriquet. Montbriquet, Santama, quick three. Off for him, rebound Bartley. Wrapped up by Madalena Webb, and that's going to be 3 fouls on Madalena Webb. 90 feet from your defensive bucket, not where you want to get your third foul with 8:40 to go in the first half. It's going to cut into your playing time considerably, and you're going to have to sit in the bench here pretty shortly. And Connors smartly goes right at Webb, can't get the bucket to go. But 3 fouls, you're not going to get much more than Matador defense at that point in time. Raphael with a clean 3 from straight on. 26-13. LeBlanc thought about trying an answer. Bartley does try an answer. No rim on the Bartley shot. Flora Kirch. Montbriquet, extra pass. Santama. 3 is good. Timeout. Tommies. Back-to-back threes from Kings. And Coach Connors wants to talk it over with his starters. Set to go here out of the timeout. Loaded myself up here a lozenge, help me get through the remaining 7 quarters or so of action here today on day 3. LeBlanc, Vedito, Connors. Connors gets to the bucket again, and again draws contact. Langell and Santama both in there. It is Santama. LeBlanc left it short. Comes Claudia Steves in for Paige LeBlanc. I've probably said it 3 or 4 times already this weekend. I do think Steves will have a big season here with the Tommies. Steves for Connors. So Shipko is into the game as well. There is Connors to the bucket. UKC doesn't bail her out that time. It's going to be a foul on Connors. Second on Connors. And Connors stays in the game with those 2 fouls. Time violation on UKC as Vedito gives Tebow more than she can handle. Jeffrey miss, rebounded by Flora Kirch. Langell. Might have been one with Connors with 2 fouls. Langell might have wanted to try go right to the bucket. A bit of an awkward looking shot there from Flora Kirch. And it's Oshipko ahead of the pack. Steves with a steal. Steve stops, pops, front rim. Tebow for Flora Kirch. 3-point attempt, best on the weak side rebound, rejected by Vedito. And guess who? It's Steves out of the pack with the ball for Oshipko. Vedito thought about a 3. Connors is going to drive again. That one off some feet and out of play. Mombercat in for Kings. Olton and Giesbrecht in for the Tommies. Vedito, a miss on the 3-pointer, 13-point game. Raphael missed, but it's Flora Kirch on the rebound. Vedito, nice little running lay-in. Tommies beating Kings down court and getting some easy buckets as a result. And they elect to talk it over. UKC breaks the huddle. Mombercat, Flora Kirch, Raphael, Langell, and Best. Tommies are set up in pressure. Giesbrecht, Steves, Oshipko, Olton, and Vedito. And there's Oshipko for Vedito. Rebound put back in by Olton. Best, Flora Kirch. Mombercat. Flora Kurtz from 13 can't get it to drop. Long pass ahead. It's Claudia Steves. That's a Sunday afternoon pass for sure. That was Oshipko with that. Steal. 12 on the shot clock. Tommy's ball on the inbound. Little blob play here. Baseline out of bounds. Off the box, it's inbounded to Giesbrecht. Steve's Fedito. Giesbrecht is going to shoot a three. That one rimmed out. A couple of Tommies fighting for the boards. Jump ball this time. Over to Kings. And here's our first look this season, this tournament for sure, at Regan Kerr. Kerr, little ankle injury in the Fort Kent games. Only cleared for one game this weekend. And here we see Kerr in action wearing 8 for the Tommies. Carly Best, a one-hand runner. Oshipko with patience. There's Kerr with a touch. Looking for Giesbrecht back outside Olton. Now inside for Giesbrecht. Giesbrecht step through. Rebound is fought for Olton on the tie-up. This possession stays Tommy. Santama will check back in. This is for Langell. Four flat this time on the inbounds. It's for Claudia Steves with 14 to shoot. I'm going to say the Tommies, given the lineup that's out there right now for Kings, might want to look for Giesbrecht, and they do right off the initial entry. Long shot missed by Steves. Rebound Olton, who's impressive here. Kerr tracks that loose ball down, kicks it back up top. 10 to shoot as Oshipko directs some offense. Giesbrecht passes inside for Regan Kerr. Bouncer off the rim, Flora Kirch on that rebound. It's out of bounds off Sydney Flora Kirch. And a little bit of pressure here from UKC, inbounded for Olton. Full court pick up by Montbriquet. Steves to work inside, kicks out. Oshipko back out Steves. There's Olton for a three off the mark, no rim. 3 on the shot clock, 2-1 shot clock violation. Montbriquet makes a triple. Teams in this league going to have to be aware that UKC is going to shoot that 3 ball with regularity. Oh, nice move, Regan Kerr. Knocked out of bounds by Flora Kirch. Good to see Regan back on that ankle. Regan worked incredibly hard this summer. I see Regan downtown. He worked downtown this summer. Not sure where Regan was working. And in fact, the last time, Regan had walked right by me practically before I realized it was her. for just how hard Regan has worked here. Giesbrecht on the rebound gets help from Steves. Grace Cofford back for Regan Kerr. Kerr three-pointer. One thing Kerr can do is shoot. It's a long shot missed. Oshipko. Contact from Flora Kirch on the rebound. Steves for Kerr, now Oshipko. Low for Kerr, Giesbrecht. Steves from the outside, three-pointer is good, Claudia Steves. Raphael thought about a three. Flora Kirch takes one. Oshipko. Have Steve's far side on the run. Instead, it's Oshipko keeper for 2 points. Little quarterback sneak that time for Peyton Oshipko. That'll end the quarter. Giesbrecht collects the last rebound. Love the energy and hustle from that bench mob of the Tommies. Halftime score 43-23 in favor of STU. Come on back a couple minutes before the half starts and give you the stats rundown from the first 20 minutes of play. See you then. My fans, welcome back to the LB Gym for second half action. Final women's game of the Ken Gould tournament. Host Tommies up 43-23 on UKC. 26-10 first quarter and a 17-13 second quarter have staked the Tommies to that 20-point lead. UKC's 23 points, 9 of 38 shooting, 24%, 5 of 19 beyond the three-point arc. For 26 have yet to get to the free throw line. Meanwhile, the Tommies, 43 points, 15 of 47, 4 of 18 for 22%, 9 of 12 from the free throw line for STU. 19 turnovers for Kings, 6 for the Tommies. So that's 10-0 turnovers in the second quarter, I think. I think it was 9-6 at quarter time. Your game leaders, Flora Kirch has 4 points and 11 rebounds already for Kings. Mombriquette, Raphael, Thibault, Santama, and Webb 3 points each. 3 fouls on Madalena Webb. For the Tommies, Claudia Steeves leads with 9. And something weird just happened here to my stats. Here we go. Steeves leads with 9, Vedito 8, Connors 8, Oshipko and Olden 8. Foul trouble. Connors has 2. And they are remarkably the only 2 fouls on the Tommies side. Set for second half play. Tommies looking to go 3-0 in their home tourney. Kings has Mombriquette, Santama, Langell, Best, and Raphael. Tommies send out the what are becoming familiar starters now. Connors, LeBlanc, Vedito, Jeffrey, and Bartley. LeBlanc follows up her own miss and scores 2. Mombriquette uses some speed on Jeffrey. Running one-hander towards the rim from Carly Best. LeBlanc inside for Connors against Langell. Back out, Alyssa Jeffrey. That, I think, is a triple. Official's hands went up in the air. Yes, it is. A 3 for Jeffrey. And there's a 2. I think that was Mombriquette. I was momentarily distracted by somebody walking by. Connors nowhere to go, back outside, 5 to shoot. Bartley, Jeffrey again, a 3, no rim. And shot violation on STU. Ahead. A little too much mustard on that pass for Langell. And Langell, a minute and a half into this one, I thought she was asking for a sub there. I think she might have been. Up off the bench is Webb. Santama with a shot attempt. Tommy's now doubling up Kings at 50-25. Connors tries a 3. That one finds rim and then finds its way through. 3 points for Connors. Santa Maria kick outside Montbriquet. 3 doesn't drop through. LeBlanc on the rebound. Reverses the dribble. Connors with a seam. Off glass, 2 points. 5 in a row for CC. Benito on the board for LeBlanc. LeBlanc draws a foul on Raphael. And here's Oshipko, set to check in for Stu, along with Claudia Steves, Bartley and Jeffrey out to the bench. LeBlanc makes the first. And the second. Sub in for the Tommies. Quinlan and Giesbrecht in for Benito and LeBlanc. Santama draws a foul on Giesbrecht. Free throws for Santama. Inbounded for Steves. Steves for Quinlan. Back for Steves. Steves. Kick out for Connors. 7 to shoot. Charlie goes to work. Rebound Oshipko. Fresh 14 on the shot clock. And it's Oshipko. Did all the work on the offensive glass. Might as well score the 2. Oh, nice backdoor cut for Webb. Webb can't finish, and that's going to be the 4th foul on Webb. 2 of them coming 90 feet from your defensive bucket. Confusion as to who's subbing off there for Kings. Webb stays with the 4th foul. And the Tommies should just attack that. Connors to the rim. Kirch with a deflection. Giesbrecht, 5 to shoot. Oshipko realizes it. And Oshipko finds Connors, who throws one up off the rim. There's Steves on the boards. Steves, Connors, 3 is front rim. Quinlan on the glass. Tommy's extra opportunities here. Quinlan is called for a jump up possession stew. Quinlan will inbound. Box set for the Tommies. 4 to shoot. Connors left that one short, but gets the offensive board over Webb, who is playing with 4 fouls. Three-pointer, Raphael. Steve splits the defense for Oshipko. Oshipko to Connors. Beauty passing play. Peyton Oshipko. That's another 3 made. I think that was Flora Kirch. Those corners are tough for me to see. Here comes Regan Kerr back in for Stu, along with Katie Vedito. Connors and Giesbrecht to the bench for the Tommies. And saw sub as well, I thought, for Kings. It's 20, Alyssa Wenzel. Love these Kings jerseys, make the numbers real easy to pick out when the players turn around. Quinlan, an easy 2 points. Goucher. Picked up by Steve. Steve has Vedito. Oh, and nicely intercepted by Flora Kirch, who is sprinting back into the play. Steve's got a little too casual on that. Oshipko with a tip. Goucher runs into Tommy traffic. Raphael from 18 feet. Offensive foul called. On Raphael. Vedito, a long 3. Pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. Raphael with the traditional 3-point attempt. The and one variety here. Santa Ma Mombriquette for Goucher and Flora Kirch. Foul goes on the Tommies, Regan Kerr. Quinlan with the box out rebound off for Claudia Steeves. Steeves just keeps going, no one stops Steeves. Timeout Kings. As a reminder, if you're a Tommies fan, Tommy Court Sports Volleyball picks up next weekend. Saturday and Sunday. Check out gotommies.ca. I know I'm here Saturday and Sunday. I can't know the times of the teams quite yet. I just go week to week. Once I get through this weekend, I'll worry about next. And I believe the Tommy volleyballers are hosting ACAs this year. So it's a good time to get to know your Tommy volleyball teams. Tommy basketball opens at home in 2 weeks for the regular season. Saturday, November 1st. And Sunday the 2nd, they'll host MSVU, and then these same UKC Blue Devils are in town on the Sunday. good opportunity here this weekend for the Tommies to see their first two opponents. Benito, that three. Soft shot, but it just rolls off the rim. Mombercat. Right to the rim, Regan Kerr on a rebound. Ahead for Grace Crawford, who's checked in for Stu. That's Oshipko. Oh, tricky pass for Benito there from Oshipko. That's going to be a jump ball called in possession of UKC. It's going to be out off of Vedito. Santama, three. Quinlan for Crawford. Benito toes in the tulips along the baseline. Saying, hey, they forced me out. Official says, doesn't matter, you're still stepping on the shrubbery here. Mombercat, straight on three, doesn't go. Kerr, another rebound. Lead pass of Shipko. Benito open for three. That one just too strong. Out of bounds off of Raphael. Goucher off the bench. That's Wenzel, who will take a seat. Inbounded for Crawford, 10 to shoot, back for Kerr. Kerr, jab step. Crawford, Kerr. Kerr gets one up and gets a rebound. Good hustle by Regan Kerr. Second rebound attempt there. That's one Kerr is going to say, hey, I should have had that follow-up. Oshipko on the steal and score. And loose ball again, but a foul that time on Oshipko. Mombercat. Santama. Santama, long three, front rim. Kerr, another board. Regan Kerr, rebounding machine. One second left in the quarter. It would have counted, but it doesn't go. 72-38. We'll power up the phone here again and give you the stats. That quarter, 29-15 Tommies. UKC, 14 of 52 for their 38 points. 8 three-pointers made on 26 attempts, 30%, 31%. Beyond the arc is a pretty good number. Only 27 overall, though. Isn't super great. Only 2 of 3 from the line. It just shows you that they're not getting to the bucket and drawing those fouls. 24 turnovers for UKC. And they're not the tasty blueberry kind of turnovers. They're the kind that turn the coach's tummy. Stu, 72 points on 27 of 69 shooting, nearly 40%. 7 of 25 beyond the arc for 28%. 11 of 14 from the free throw line, only 10 turnovers for STU. Rebounding, edge to the Tommies, plus 13. And your game leaders, Rafael Santama, 8 each for Kings. Foul trouble Kings, Madalena Webb has 4. No one else more than 2. Tommies, Connors up to 17 points now, Vedito 13. Steve's 11 of Shipko 10, 4 in double digits for the Tommies. Connors 2 fouls. The only Tommy with a crooked number. 3 or 4 of them have a single. Tommy's ball to start Q4. Olton, Connors, Jeffrey, LeBlanc, and Bartley. Connors 3 is nothing but nylon for Charlie Connors. Mombercat with a runner off the glass. Sometimes have to squint hard to see them when you're down by a score of 75-40 if you're a coach. But there are some good signs here with this young club of UKC. There are some positives to pick out. That running score there for Mombercat. The ability to knock down some threes as well. Santama had a great game on Friday. Consistency, one of the tough issues usually for rookies in the ACAA. Jeffrey stops, pops, 2 more points for the Tommies. Langell ahead for Flora Kirch. And Flora Kirch scores 2. Bartley for 3. That one is through as well. 80-42 STU. Tebow tries a triple. Jeffrey, Olton, Jeffrey, Bartley, LeBlanc. The takeaway from Tebow has Flora Kirch streaking against Bartley. Flora Kirch couldn't get it to go. Rebound Tommies. And Flora Kirch and Connors with a collision. Foul goes on Connors on that collision with Flora Kirch. Slight bit of a 50-50 ball there, but Kirch had the advantage, hence the foul to Connors. Mombercat tries a 3, rebound Bartley. Until Fred Connors doesn't agree with that call, is in the ear of the official that was standing by the Tommies bench. Tommy's knockaway, I think it was Connors put a hand on that. And Flora Kirch with the interception of the long pass that was intended for LeBlanc. Mombercat a little too anxious that time to find a cutter. Tommy's knocking away, but it's Tebow in control. And Connors will pick up second consecutive foul. That's going to be 4 on Charlie. That one from a long way away. But Connors had a lot of ball on that one. Giesbrecht up off the bench to check in. One more coming for Tebow. 7:01 to go in this one. Yeah, we look like we're pretty handy on time for the men's start at 5. And then it'll be raviolis and a nap for me. Kick off the dust here this weekend with 12 games in 3 days. Ready to go back to work for a rest. Giesbrecht to the rim. Rips down the ball outside. Tommy's got to get one off as there was no rim on that Giesbrecht shot. Burkett tries that running one-hander again. Rebound, Paige LeBlanc. Finds Olton. And Momberquette will pick up a foul. First team foul on Kings this quarter. The Tommies have 2, both on Connors. 6:15 to go here in Q4 and the game. Hartley jammed on the other underside of the backboard. I say the game because I don't expect UKC will make up 35 points in 6 minutes. Could happen, unlikely, in the realm of possibility, but Olton was looking for the handoff to Bartley. Giesbrecht with a foul on Langell. Here comes Grace Crawford. It's going to be for Marley Olton. The rookie Crawford out of Belleville and Nicholson Catholic. Crawford, I think, had a piece of that ball. And Hartley doing some gardening there on the end line. Caught with the toes in the tulips. Out of bounds. Momberquette. Slow to get up in that play. And in comes Santamaw. Madalena Webb and 4 fouls back in. This for Natasha Langell. Probably let Webb play here until Webb fouls out. Or needs a break. Langell, a pretty good run there. Here's Bartley. Puts the brakes on, finds LeBlanc open. That three-pointer short, but it's a Tommy on the board. Who is that? It's Jeffrey. Tebow misses a 3. And Raphael fouls LeBlanc. Third foul on Raphael. One more game to go. It's going to be Mount A and the Tommy men to wrap up the Ken Gould. 4:22 left in the women's action here. Last women's game of the tournament. Giesbrecht inside. Fouled will shoot 2, and this might be 5 on Madalena Webb. It is the 5th on Madalena Webb. A couple of those fouls on Webb were a long way from the defensive bucket. Webb disappointed in performance. All part of the learning curve here for Webb. Giesbrecht from the line. Second one goes through. Tebow with a miss. Steves on the board. Football subs coming. Goucher and Kerr. Kerr will probably be for Bartley, I would guess, yes. And that's Goucher for Flora Kirch. Steves off to Giesbrecht. 4 to shoot, Kerr. Kicks for Giesbrecht. Three-pointer made, Mackenzie Giesbrecht. Kerr could have forced one there. Good patience to an open shooter. There's Crawford giving up the body on the floor for the ball. Now gets the ball back. Kerr, open shooter, a little too strong. I think if Regan had that one back, she'd decide to fake and go to the bucket. Raphael on a miss. Crawford rebound. Kerr ahead of the pack. And way too much mustard on that one from Steves. Steve says, oh, it's all right. I'm going to get the ball right back. And I'm going to score 2 points. Love that response from Claudia Steves. Holton up off the bench. My guess is it might be for Quinlan. Quinlan or Steves. There's Kerr with an interception. Kerr's going to pass up for Steves. Steves going to shoot 2 and make 2. Second year Claudia Steves, a weapon for this Tommies team all weekend long. Backcourt violation here on Goucher. Over to the Tommies, 1:58 to play. Here is Olton. And it is for Steves. Giesbrecht to the 10, doesn't get the bounce that time. Inside Tebow, 2 points. Be a fun season watching this Kings team grow as well. Good energy and I think a pretty good talent level as well for Kings. Really tough when you're 11 first-year players and you're up against so many veterans, as we've seen here this weekend. Kerr, Giesbrecht, big board and put back, but left it short. Olton. That shot is through a 3 for Regan Kerr. Quinlan, nice rebound. Quinlan, big game Friday. Ahead again for Kerr. There's that fake and drive for Regan Kerr. Similar play as last time, and that was the different decision right there. Couldn't finish the play, but got a great shot out of it. Final 35 seconds of this one. Tommies 93 on the board. Take a look here at the game's leading scorers as this wraps up. Tebow 11, Raphael 8, Sanama 8 for Kings. Still with 15 seconds left. We added on to a little bit. The Tommies, Connors with a good game with 20 points. Claudia Steves 15, Vidito 13. Oshipko, who was impressive all weekend long, 10. All of those 4 I mentioned also have 4 rebounds, which is kind of interesting. Giesbrecht, Bartley with 7, each LeBlanc 8 boards. Regan Kerr 6 points on a couple of made triples. Marley Olton. Olton makes the second. 94-47, that's exactly a doubling. Pretty much right on time for a 5 o'clock start. Mount A and the Tommy men to wrap up the Ken Gould. If you've been along to watch the women's version of the tournament with us, thank you for tuning in all weekend long. I'll be here all season on Tommy Scored Sports, back next weekend for volleyball. And basketball the weekend of Halloween, November 1st, it actually starts. Miss at the buzzer for Santa Ma. One more game to come here, but thank you for tuning in on behalf of everyone here at St. Thomas. You always amaze me, Alice, in the producer's chair. That's going to end our women's action here from the Ken Gould. Tommies go 3-0. Perfect in their home tournament. Things get real against MSVU November 1st right here at the LB Gym. See you then. Hi fans, welcome to the LB Gym. 12th and final game of the Ken Gould Invitational Preseason Tournament here. Final matchup features the host Tommy men and the Mount Allison Mounties. The Mounties come into this one 0-2. Lost to UNBSJ 97-90 on Friday. They were led by Jonas Monroe with 21 points and Ryan Norris with 20 in that loss. Lost yesterday 101-70 to the Mount St. Vincent University Mystics. Christian Hager with 15 points in that loss, and the big difference there, it was plus 28 field goal attempts for Mount St. Vincent, 32 turnovers for the Mounties. Tommies, on the other hand, 2-0 in their host tournament. They beat the Mystics on Friday night, hung on for a 94-92 victory, despite losing the fourth quarter 36-23. Tommies had a big lead. They were led by Marcus Wilson's 25 in that one. Jevin Eddy had 14 and 10 rebounds in support. Last evening, they were 87-76 victors over the UNBSJ Seawolves. And in that contest, Vince Littleton 24 points and Marcus Wilson 24 points to lead STU. STU got to the free throw line 18 times in that game, and really they protected the ball all weekend long. Not a lot of turnovers for the Tommies in either game. 14 against UNBSJ and 16 against Mount St. Vincent. They won the turnover battle in each game. Littleton turned an ankle last night and not dressed here for this tourney finale. As a result, Caleb Schulten's going to draw into the starting lineup for Coach John Hickey.